Captain Elias Drake stood at the edge of the bustling spaceport on Zyphera, his boots crunching on the metal flooring. Ships of every shape and size zoomed overhead, leaving streaks of light that reflected on the polished metal walls of the station. The hum of engines and chatter of aliens filled the air. He loved places like this, full of life, energy, and surprises. Humans were rare here, and he had learned to stand out. But that often worked to his advantage. Elias adjusted the strap of his satchel and walked toward the crowd, his eyes scanning for anything unusual. He was a human explorer, known for diplomacy and courage. His life had taken him to planets no one had even mapped, and he had faced dangers that would make most beings flee. Yet, even he could not predict what he would see today. Near the entrance of a crowded market, a small figure caught his attention. It was a young alien woman, crouched on the ground, clutching a small satchel to her chest. Her skin shimmered a soft lavender, her large eyes reflecting fear and desperation. Around her, several taller, harsher-looking aliens surrounded her. They spoke in a fast, sharp language, pointing at her and gesturing angrily. Elias paused. He did not understand their words, but the tone was clear, threatening. The young alien looked up at the crowd, her eyes wide and pleading. That was when Elias noticed it. Her species, the Valari, were known for their small stature, gentle demeanor, and intelligence. But they were poor and often treated unfairly by others. He had read reports about them before, but seeing one in trouble like this made it real. He stepped forward. "Hey!" His voice rang loud, carrying over the chatter of the crowd. The taller aliens turned, their eyes narrowing. Elias held his hands up, calm but firm. "Step away from her," he said. His voice was calm, but every word carried authority. The aliens hesitated. One of them stepped forward, speaking in a harsh tone Elias could not understand. He shook his head. "I don't understand you, but I do understand this. She is not harming you. Leave her alone." The crowd watched silently. Humans were rare here, and seeing one step forward like this drew attention. Elias could feel their eyes on him, waiting to see what he would do next. One of the aliens sneered and lunged forward. Elias reacted instantly, grabbing the alien's arm and twisting it, holding it behind its back. The alien yelped, but did not resist further. Elias's training in self-defense and diplomacy came from years of situations like this. The others hesitated, glancing at each other. Elias's calm confidence was enough to make them think twice. Finally, they muttered curses under their breath and disappeared into the crowd. The young Valari woman looked up at him with wide, grateful eyes. "Thank you, human," she stammered. Her voice was soft, melodic, almost musical. Elias smiled gently. "You're welcome. Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "No. I'm okay. They want something from me. But I have nothing." Her voice trembled. Elias could see the fear in her eyes, but also a spark of hope. "Come with me," Elias said. "It's not safe here for you alone." She nodded, gathering her satchel and standing. She was small, not even reaching his chest, but there was a dignity in her posture. Elias had seen courage in many forms, but hers was quiet and real. They walked through the market together. Elias noticed how she moved carefully, avoiding attention. She was clearly aware of the danger around her, but she did not panic. That impressed him. Humans often overreact in fear, but she seemed to think clearly, even in danger. Finally, they reached a quieter corner of the station. Elias looked at her. "You're safe now. Can you tell me what happened?" She took a deep breath. "My name is Lyra. I come from the Valari people. We are poor, and some of the other species here, they take what they want from us. These aliens, they wanted money, food, Anything they could take. I have nothing, so they threatened me. Elias nodded, listening carefully. I see. That's unfair. I don't like people taking advantage of others, especially when they cannot defend themselves. Lyra looked down, her hands clasping her satchel tightly. I am grateful you helped me. But there is something else. Something difficult. She hesitated, as if deciding whether to speak. Finally, she looked up, her eyes shining with hope and fear combined. I need a human to help me, to save my people. Elias raised an eyebrow. Your people? How can I? She swallowed hard. It is our tradition. If a human, a strong, kind human, agrees to marry me, my people are protected. They are safe from danger. They can live without fear. There. Elias blinked. He had not expected that. Marriage was a serious thing even for humans. And here was a stranger asking him, in front of a galaxy, to consider it. But he looked at her eyes and saw something more than desperation. He saw honesty, intelligence, and courage. She was not manipulating him. She was asking for help, for survival. He took a deep breath. Lyra, that is unusual, very unusual. But I want to understand. Show me your people. Let me see what you face. Her eyes brightened. Relief and gratitude mixed in her expression. Thank you, human. You will see. And perhaps you will understand why this is important. Within hours, they boarded a transport to her home planet, Velara Minor. The journey was quiet at first. Elias observed her, noticing the grace in her movements, the intelligence in her eyes. Lyra, in turn, glanced at him occasionally, trying to read him. She seemed nervous, but also hopeful. When they arrived, Elias was struck by the contrast. The Velari lived in a vibrant city full of colors and life, but beneath the beauty, he could see the hardship. Buildings were modest, technology outdated compared to the rest of the galaxy, and the people moved with a cautious, wary energy. Lyra led him through narrow streets. This is our home. We survive, but we are weak. Others, they do not treat us fairly. She looked at him earnestly. Why? If you agree to help us, to be our protector, we can survive and thrive. Elias thought carefully. Humans had a tradition of helping those in need, of standing for justice. And here was an entire society in need. Intelligent, kind, and capable people who simply lacked power. This was more than a personal decision. It was an opportunity to do something meaningful. He looked at Lyra. I need to know more about your people, your culture, and what exactly you expect from me. She smiled faintly. I will tell you everything. We have rules, traditions. Some may seem strange to you, but they are important. And I trust you, human. You are brave and fair. Elias nodded slowly. All right. Show me. Then, IBO. For the first time in hours, Lyra relaxed. She led him to the central square, where the Velari gathered for daily life. Children played safely under the watchful eyes of their elders, and merchants sold their goods. Yet, Elias could see the undercurrent of fear. People glanced nervously at outsiders, careful not to anger anyone stronger. Lyra spoke softly. This is our home, and our struggle. We are kind. We are smart. But without protection, we are easy targets. You, a human, can change that. Not because of your strength alone, but because humans, you are respected, feared, and trusted. That is why I asked you. I asked you. Elias considered her words. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy for courage, fairness, and resilience. Sometimes that reputation scared others, but it also inspired trust. He realized that helping her people was not just an act of kindness. It was an opportunity to show the best of humanity in action. He looked at Lyra, meeting her eyes. I will consider it. I cannot promise yet, but I will see what can be done. Relief flooded her face. Thank you, human. That is all I ask. That is all we ask. As the sun of Valara Minor set, casting long shadows over the city, Elias felt a strange mix of excitement and responsibility. He had traveled the galaxy seeking adventure, but this was different. This was not about treasure, fame, or exploration. This was about helping a people survive and thrive, and perhaps learning from them as well. That night, Elias stood on the balcony of Lyra's modest home. The city below was quiet, peaceful, yet full of life. He could hear the faint hum of alien engines, the distant laughter of children, and the whispers of those who had survived another day. He realized that the galaxy was full of wonders, and not all of them were in the stars. Some wonders were in courage, hope, and trust. And some were in the unexpected encounters that could change the course of lives, human and alien alike. Lyra appeared beside him, quiet, respectful. Thank you for listening, for caring. Elias smiled. Humans listen. Humans care. That is what we do. Perhaps, together, we can make your people stronger. Lyra's eyes glimmered. Perhaps, together, we can. And with that, the first spark of an extraordinary journey began. A journey that would test courage, morality, and the strength of humanity in a galaxy full of danger and wonder. The morning sun of Valara Minor rose over the lavender fields that surrounded the city. Captain Elias Drake woke early, his mind already turning over the events of the previous day. He had never imagined that a simple act of helping a stranger could lead him to the heart of a new civilization. Yet here he was, standing in the home of Lyra, the young Valari woman who had asked him to marry her, not for love, but for the survival of her people. Elias stretched and stepped onto the balcony, feeling the cool morning breeze. Below, the city was waking. Valari citizens moved with purpose, carrying baskets, tending to small gardens, and greeting each other with soft melodic words. There was a harmony in their movements, a rhythm that spoke of generations of survival and cooperation. Lyra appeared at the door, holding a small tray with 2 steaming cups of a fragrant drink. "Good morning, human," she said softly, her voice still musical but steadier now than yesterday. "I hope you slept well." Elias smiled. "Better than I expected. This place, it has a calmness, but I also see the worry in people's faces." Lyra nodded, setting the tray down. "Yes, we are strong, but we are careful. The galaxy is not kind to those who cannot defend themselves. That is why I asked for your help." Elias took a sip of the drink. It was sweet and warm, and the taste lingered pleasantly. "I understand your request better now, but I need to learn more about your people, your culture, and what you expect from me." Lyra hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "I will show you everything. But first, you must meet our council." The Council of the Valari was a small group of elders who governed their society. They were wise, experienced, and cautious. As Elias followed Lyra through the winding streets of the city, he noticed children watching him curiously. Adults glanced at him, whispering among themselves. Humans were rare here. And a human traveling openly with a Valari woman caused both awe and concern. When they reached the council hall, the elders greeted them. They were smaller than humans, with shimmering skin and large, expressive eyes. Their expressions were serious, but not unfriendly. "Lyra brings a human before us," said the eldest, his voice deep and measured. "Tell us, child, why should we trust him?" Lyra stepped forward confidently. "He saved me yesterday. He protected me from harm when no one else would. He is brave, and he is fair. That is why I asked him for help." Elias bowed slightly. "I am honored to meet you all. I do not seek power or wealth. I seek understanding and fairness. I want to help your people survive and thrive." The council studied him carefully. One elder leaned forward. "Humans are known across the galaxy. Your species is respected for courage and honesty, but also feared. If you choose to help, it will bring change. Can you accept that responsibility?" 1. Elias met the elder's gaze steadily. "I can. Humans face challenges and dangers every day. We help those in need when we can. If your people need protection, I will do my best." A murmur ran through the council. Lyra's eyes shone with hope. "Will you stay with us? Learn our ways? Understand our struggles?" Elias nodded. "I will. I need to see your world as you see it, to understand the risks and the hopes of your people." And so began the first days of his journey among the Valari. The city was small but full of life. Elias noticed the ingenuity of their technology. Their machines were simple compared to human standards, yet effective. They used solar panels shaped like flowers, wind turbines that resembled trees, and energy converters that ran silently without pollution. It was a society that lived in balance with its environment. Yet, there were challenges. Some parts of the city were worn and damaged, evidence of past raids by less scrupulous species. The people moved carefully, avoiding conflict, knowing that they could not afford to fight back. Lyra guided Elias through the city, introducing him to families and showing him the daily struggles of her people. He saw children who worked hard to help their families, merchants who negotiated carefully to survive, and elders who carried wisdom, but also fear. One evening, as they walked along a quiet street, Elias turned to Lyra. "Your people are clever, resourceful, and kind. But they live in constant fear. That is not how any intelligent species should survive." Lyra looked down. We are careful. We have survived this way for generations. But it is not easy. And we are always vulnerable. That is why I asked for your help. Your people, humans, you are respected. If a human stands with us, others will think twice before harming us." Elias considered her words. Humans were known for courage, fairness, and moral strength. Sometimes that reputation scared others, but it also inspired trust. He realized that helping the Valari was not just an act of kindness. It was an opportunity to show the best of humanity in action. The next few days were filled with learning. Elias observed how the Valari lived, how they made decisions, and how they respected their environment. He learned their language more fully, appreciating the beauty of its sound and structure. He saw the creativity in their art, the precision in their engineering, and the warmth in their community. Yet, the cultural differences were evident. Humans were direct, often bold in speech, while the Valari were subtle, careful, and indirect. Misunderstandings happened easily. One evening, while discussing a plan to improve the city's defenses, Elias suggested a bold approach that startled the council. "We cannot do it that way," said one elder, shaking his head. "It is too dangerous. We have survived by caution, not by bold actions. Elias nodded respectfully. I understand caution, but sometimes courage and direct action are necessary. We must balance caution with boldness. That is what humans do. Lyra intervened gently. Both are right. We must protect our people carefully, but also think boldly. Perhaps, together, we can find a way. The council considered this. Slowly, they began to see the value in Elias's approach. They had survived through caution. Yes, but the galaxy had changed. New dangers required new strategies. As days passed, Elias and Lyra grew closer. They shared stories of their childhoods, their dreams, and their hopes for the future. Elias admired her courage, her intelligence, and her unwavering honesty. Lyra admired his bravery, fairness, and wisdom. Slowly, mutual respect grew, forming the foundation of trust. One afternoon, a group of Villari children ran up to them, carrying small mechanical toys. They had noticed Elias's fascination with technology and wanted to show their creations. Elias knelt to inspect them, offering suggestions and encouragement. The children's eyes sparkled with excitement. You see, Lyra whispered, smiling, your presence already inspires hope. Your people, humans, have a way of bringing out the best in others. Elias smiled, realizing she was right. Humans had a reputation not just for strength, but for compassion, for leadership, and for the ability to inspire. This was why her people had sought him out not as a warrior, but as a symbol of trust and hope. That evening, Elias and Lyra walked along a cliff overlooking the city. The stars were bright, and the twin moons of Valara Minor cast silver light over the lavender fields below. You are considering it, Lyra said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias nodded. I am. I need to understand your people fully, and I need to see the challenges we might face. But I see why you asked me. I understand now. Understand now. Lyra's eyes glistened. It is not just for me. It is for all of us. My people, they need someone they can trust. Someone who is brave and fair. That is why I asked you. Elias placed a hand on hers, gently. Lyra, your courage is remarkable. I promise. I will do my best to help your people. I will stand with you, and with them. We will find a way together. Her eyes brightened, and she smiled. A smile full of hope and relief. Thank you, human. That is all I could hope for. In that moment, Elias understood the true meaning of his journey. It was not about adventure or discovery alone. It was about courage, trust, and the ability of humans to inspire and uplift others. He realized that humanity's strength was not in weapons or technology alone. It was in integrity, empathy, and moral courage. As night fell over Valara Minor, Elias and Lyra returned to the city. He knew that challenges lay ahead, dangers that could threaten her people and test their resolve. But he also knew that together, they could face whatever came. And so, part 2 of their journey ended with understanding, trust, and the first steps toward partnership. The human explorer had chosen to learn, to respect, and to stand with a civilization in need, proving that humanity's greatest strength lay not in power alone, but in courage, compassion, and the willingness to make a difference.